many of you know, this has been a tradition for the last 5 years. We have been conducting an annual LP meet, where it's an occasion for us to meet each one of you in person. Of course, we do interact over the year through multiple channels, but this is one occasion where we can meet, exchange ideas, where you can meet the founders, and all of us together come together as part of one family and figure out as to what has happened over the last year and what is that we are going to do over the next couple of years as DVC India Fund. Today we are very fortunate to have also amidst us Mr. Raj Narayanam, who's the founder and of Zaggle, and Mr. Avinash, who's the founder of CEO of Zaggle. Thanks, Raj and Avinash, for joining. And we have at least about 7 founders of our portfolio companies and a very senior member from another of our portfolio company, whom we'll be introducing you through the course of the evening. If you haven't picked up your drink, please quickly pick up your drink and join. But we'll start with a welcome note from our founder and managing partner, Dakar.
So it's always able to move? No problem. Welcome, and it's really happy to see, especially on Friday night, all of you, I'm pretty sure in Hyderabad, a lot happening. You could be going to a lot of, these parties, and I know it looks like a wedding season too, right? It's in Hyderabad. So thank you for all of you coming and spending time with us. I know it's boring to go through like investor presentations and all that. So that's the reason really we want to make sure like more interactive. We'll make sure, as Kiran pointed out, we'll have some of our founders come over. We'll have a pretty much kind of, you can ask any questions, these founders. So in that way, they will be able to, answer and also get tested. So that's the best way to, the founders get a good training, when they had to go for next fundraising and all that. Again, I wanted to, this question I've been getting a lot lately. What's going on, man? You guys good? Yeah, I think first let me kind of also thanks Pani Sullivan. So I don't know where he is right now. So I'd like to welcome here. As you know, like he is one of the instrumental. Please, like to recognize you. As you know, the AA Summit happened. We'll talk about a little later, but I'd like to him to come on. Please have a seat and allow to you to address our team. As you know, he represents the government really and done a great job. We've been talking to him, but like I met him at the AA Summit and unbelievable kind of energy he created. So allow to you to address, because I can't answer a lot of questions I'm getting from our investors. So, so what I would like to kind of, talk about, it's interesting, I'm pretty sure all of you have been hearing about, what's happening with this whole software world, technology and software world, especially for India, right? We, depend a lot on the IT sector, especially IT services. Same time, this AI, how, disruptive it is. Can you talk about it? So I'm not an expert. If I'm not an expert, I would have made $1 billion already, okay? So I'll tell you that one. But I'll try to kind of give you my own, view. Learning a lot, we have a lot of our team, allowed to kind of talk about our team. Just let me kind of first introduce Gokul. Can you get up, please? Gokul is our lead partner here in Dallas Venture Capital, India Fund. Kiran, can you please get up? Kiran is also partner. Where is Sham? Sham, please, get up. Then we also have our team members. They are the one actually making me look good, but feeding a lot of this data. They've been researching. Anish, can you get up? Anish, Rishi, Varshnai, and Ashok. Ashok really kind of keeps me honest pretty much like with my entire life, I think, right now. He's doing a great job, especially before I used to meet lot of meetings I used to miss or late. But now he's making sure no matter, it could be meeting in India or meeting in the US, make sure like he makes it happen on time. Yeah, Shakti, I'm sorry, where is Shakti? I don't, where is Shakti? Shakti, I think, doing a lot of hard work. I think she's making sure everything goes well here. So, hey, Shakti, hi. She's take care a lot of our marketing and all that. So she's doing a great job. So love to kind of make sure like it becomes more interactive, this session. We don't want to make it boring for you. But I think I'm pretty sure all of you know what SaaS is. So people been asking me, is SaaS dead, right? So for me, coming from Motorola and Microsoft, as you know, before Microsoft, even Salesforce and Google made Microsoft get into SaaS business. Otherwise, Microsoft was not in SaaS business at all. So I was lucky enough to actually launch a product within Microsoft called what all of you use, I'm pretty sure, Office 365. So I'm happy to see how we started the product, how that has become $1 billion revenue right now from Microsoft. But now, even Satya says he's saying like a lot of his SaaS revenue be threatened right now. That's the reason really you can see a lot of these companies' stocks are getting hammered. But I would say really, one thing is SaaS model is dead, but it's SaaS whole product in the background, what it uses, infrastructure layer, it is not dead. End of the day, you still need what we kind of call a real IT infrastructure, databases, cybersecurity, and all that. So that's the reason really, I think there was a good report I just got yesterday, a friend of mine, really, how SaaS companies actually can transform using AI right now, actually become thrive instead of dying. I think that's the key really with the technology always, changing, people need to change. I think we see within our portfolio company, I'll talk about one of our portfolio company, how they transformed after getting to $8 million revenue to make sure they had to, it's almost cannibalizing their own revenue to really have a native or AI first really product. So I'll talk about the company later. Then other thing also what's happening really, especially here, IT industry, because so many jobs, I heard it's close to 6 million jobs in India are in IT services industry. So as parents, as brothers, sisters, whatever it is, we're all worried about, what's going to happen to these jobs. Really, I kind of, say, what's happening with AI, if these companies retool their employees, actually they will win very well. Now I'm pretty sure a lot of you know, there's a new model coming out called service as a software. I think that's emerging, but they had to make sure they should not be just throwing bodies like what they used to do in the Y2K days or later services. But if they can focus, building tools, they will come out very well. We will see, some of these startup companies also get started by some of these, executives or, product managers or leads from these companies starting this. So that's going to do very well, in my opinion. Then really, the main thing is, I'm pretty sure everybody, all of you, how many of you don't know Anthropic here? Okay, good. So that's a test. So, as you know, Anthropic, CEO, he was, in Delhi, and then after he leaving next day, they announced about really they're having this, agent or really, pretty much, prompts, you can really, use that can replace all the legal assistants and also financial assistants. That really pretty much wiped out $235 billion in one day in the NASDAQ and NYSE, right? So it's a huge, shock. A lot of companies like Reuters and companies like Deloitte of the world who provide, a lot of consulting services and advisor services, they got hit by pretty lot. But I think, that's where I kind of say really, these technologies will help you, but they're not going to pretty much replace all these Deloittes of the world or really, Reuters right away. So I think they can use the technology and hopefully cut down the cost. So I don't know how many accountants are here. I don't think we have our BDO guys are here. We use BDO. Are they here? Anybody from BDO? So we're definitely going to ask next year a discount. Okay? Because really they had to cut down, they will be using AI in the background. Okay? So they had to cut down our cost. I think that's what's going to happen. In every company, they're going to say, boss, look, really, we need you, but we know you're going to use some of this AI stuff, so you had to cut down cost. So I think that's what I see. I'm not going to replace BDO tomorrow with the Anthropic agent. There's no way I'm going to do that, right? So I think like most of large enterprises also need a lot of really plumbing and also grudge work really need to be done. So I'm not trying to say like really, don't worry. We do have to worry about. I really worry as an investor today, where do we invest? It's really like almost after coming to India, after coming back from the AI summit, I was in Bangalore, met a lot of, smart VCs. I was asking this question, what do you think? They all kind of, we don't know. Right? Everybody says, we don't know where to invest. Maybe we just had to go back to brick and mortar, or we had to go back to hardware investments, or like maybe medical devices and all that. Maybe that's the reason, maybe next growth in India will happen a lot of these medical devices too, with AI. Right. So I think that's disruption is going to happen. But I think as long as really you're not just a company developing just an application, you will be able to do fine with the Anthropic stuff. Then what is DVC is doing, right? I think that's the, a lot of you, here half of you are really here, our investors. I'm pretty sure you have this concern, is DVC is prepared. I'm going to talk about the stuff in the next few slides. Can you really, move to the next slide? I want to tell you like the one thing is I was so happy when Kiran was telling me, hey, you want to attend the AI event? Man, every day there's an AI event in Dallas. How many AI events we're going to attend, right? But I was blown away and surprised. Of course, India is always anything. There's a lot of chaos was there. But same time, it's amazing energy, especially, I'd like to thank Palasevan Sir, like basically providing opportunity for every part of India. And every sector of India was there, I noticed, like from agriculture, from manufacturing, from healthcare, from a big technology company. And also, amazing, they were able to traction. I forgot how many world leaders showed up and how many companies showed up. Like it's unusual. I'm pretty sure you have seen this picture. I wish I put that picture here. Anthropic and OpenAI CEOs standing right next to each other, but they could not hold hands together. Okay, right? So that's kind of really leaders India was able to attract, and I really thank the government really taking these initiatives. It's really, that's what I feel like as a country, I miss some of these waves, in the AI wave, it has all the ingredients to be successful. I think that's the reason we are also here to invest, and also I'm pretty sure you heard about some of the funds like General Catalyst announced plan to invest $5 billion in India. That's a pretty big number. So I think the government also announced a pretty big initiative. I heard like a close to 1 lakh crore fund. So definitely we can invest that money. So I think then I would like to kind of talk about AI trends. What is happening in the enterprise AI? It's interesting. Last year I met a CIO from a services company. I asked him, what's going on with AI? He said, like a lot of pilots going on, there are no many passengers here. So that was the 24 and all that. But we are seeing right now, you can see in the enterprise, people who have done pilots, they are already adapting technology on the AI side and also doing actual projects. Really, if I was surprised to see, I wish Jeevan is here. Jeevan is one of our advisors, works at a company called Alcon. He told me there are 90 AI projects are going on right now within the company, 90. I was really surprised. So that really creating what I kind of call really, need for AI infrastructure. I'll talk about that one in my next few slides. Now, I think this is the next slide really, talks about how DVC has been investing, from the beginning of this fund. As you can see, even our Fund 0, we kind of call our Naya Fund 1, that has invested in companies. I'm pretty sure some of you heard a company called Hyperverge, based in Bangalore, but it's started in IIT Chennai by 3 young 21, 22-year-old kids. We wrote first check for $250,000. I'm happy to tell you they have become the leader right now in KYC and also onboarding their customers. They work with a lot of banks. And also Kedar was here, last year and before year, 1 year before also. The company has done very well. They really, we think, like a leader in that space. So they use basically computer vision, and also they have used what we call like a deep learning technology. It's not Gen AI, but you can see we have started investing in the AI. Same thing, Altia was a company, the AI camera company. We did invest one company which in the AI hardware space and did very well, and we have actually sold this company to a company called Jabra. Same thing some of you must have seen within Hyderabad, a company called Core.ai. In our next fund, it is the first company we invested, done very well. It's now valued close to $1.5 billion. I have Raghu Puskur here, like really, he is the MD for our next company called Amplify. So these are the companies really we have invested. They're doing very well. And then you can see in 21 vintage, where we really, from India fund and US fund, we kind of went from a founder-led fund to partner-led fund. That's where really we have, our team has grown from 2 people to 13 people in 2021. We launched a fund in, as you know, in Dallas for the US fund, and also in Hyderabad for our India fund. The total together close to $120 million. So with this fund right now, we have done close to 21 investments in the US, and also we have done close to coming to 10 right now in India. So I'm happy to see some of these companies we did, AI first companies. They're not really kind of trying to go and put some wrappers around and all. The next slide, I think we showed you last year also. I just want to make sure, remind you what we have done. In the beginning, when you started the fund, as you know, we kind of invest in what we call cloud economy. As you can see, this slide really kind of make sure like we stay in our thesis, and also same time make sure like we focus areas we want to invest. This slide actually put by one intern within half an hour for me. And this is the most used slide in our fund decks or investor deck. Well served. And as you can see on the left hand side, we kind of talk about companies which really, big companies, a lot of them, you never hear, but they are the one really running a lot of infrastructure. Then the right hand side, you see a lot of our companies. We kind of call it IT infrastructure, and also what we kind of call it, where the OT infrastructure, like it, right? Where IT is basically, that's our sweet spot. We have done, I think it shows 50%, but most, if you look at our, maybe 60% of our investments are gone into what you kind of call it, IT infrastructure. Why? Because that's where we have a lot of connections. As some of you are here, where VP of engineering, CTOs, CIOs, with these connections, we are able to help our portfolio companies getting customers in that IT infrastructure side. These are cybersecurity, cloud governance. As you can see, there is same thing you will see in the next slide on the AI side. So then we have also the companies basically, more vertical side. One of them here are, DICE. Prashant here, like, he has done a great job. We'll call Prashant pretty soon what he has done for our fund and also for the company. So that's our really, what I kind of call the cloud. Now is AI economy. You may be asking question, are you changing with what is happening in the AI? Yes, we are. As you can see, before really AI became sexy, we have done investments, but at the same time we looked at some of our own companies, make sure they are AI ready or they become AI enabled from their products. Here also you can see we have done investments in infrastructure side of it. The companies like here, the India Simply Smart. I think Devansh also is here. He's going to be on the panel pretty soon. Is one of the fastest growing company in India right now. They will talk about what they do, but they're really helping companies to cut down the cost on the AI computing power, right? So there's a company called Fiddler, which is focused on what you call AI guardrails, making sure like really when you have these applications, they're not hallucinating. That's what Fiddler focus on. Then Holistic, started by 2 PhDs from Oxford, it focus on AI ethics. As you can see, we always kind of have this, we want to invest in picks and shovels, infrastructure layer. they are very boring, software companies, and also very boring founders too. But that's where really they don't get wiped out by when Anthropic releases an agent for legal or agent for finance, agent for healthcare. That's the reason really we invest in that area. So then really I would like to kind of talk about one of the companies. You can ask questions. I'm not saying like every one of our companies actually was AA first, but we were able to move this really using this slide kind of gives you. We also wrote our team actually wrote a white paper 3 years back. What is going to happen in the AI, especially when AI applications build, what kind of infrastructure you need. So we were able to actually find Fiddler, which is one of the companies. They are focusing on what we call AI observability. As you can see, always as this slide gives you kind of what happened with the web, cloud, and AI right now. So luckily, in the cloud space also, as you can see in our fund, what we kind of call our fund one, we invested in a company called CoStack in the AI, the cloud governance. Now we see like right now with the same thing in the AI space, like a Fiddler and Simply Smart and other companies we're investing. So I think we're also looking at, I can't tell you a company pretty close, invest in the orchestration scalability in the AI agentic stuff also. We think really we want to have a company in every one of those boxes. So we kind of go after some of these companies, even they're not coming to us. That's where our team works on it to make sure like if we are able to, sometimes really it's very hard to invest in these companies, I'm telling you, because they get quoted by a lot of big VC firms, and we don't get a chance to really invest in the beginning. But we are able to work with, Kiran will show like some of the venture funds we work with. We are able to work with them and able to invest in some companies. Like for example, Fiddler, we have excellent relationship with the inside partners. The board member at Fiddler is also on the board member at Databricks. So you can see like some of these companies eventually can be acquired from some of those big platform players. I think that's well working for us in the Bay Area or also in India. I would like to kind of also give you the final, how our portfolio companies are transforming. One of the companies we invested, a company called here also, George Matthews, he's on the board for Fiddler and Databricks and also Prophecy. After we investing, the company has grown to pretty good revenue, close to $8 million within 1 year. But the CEO made a decision really, if we don't really change, basically they develop really a platform for helping companies and creating data pipeline, replacing basic Informatica. But he was able to kind of sell it to companies like JP Morgan. Mainly the product was used by data scientists. It was good. Within JP Morgan, they may have a 200-300 data scientists. But then he found out really this is going to be replaced by AI agents. So that's where really, pretty much transformed the company pretty quickly within 1 year. Now they're selling to thousands of agents. Instead of selling to hundreds, that's the opportunity you had to look at as a startup company. How do you transform technology and also your total TAM, also total available market? So that's the opportunity he's able to create. So he has done pretty good job right now, and the company has actually picked up revenue on the AI agentic stuff right now, not on his old product. So with that, I think my presentation is done. Then a lot of smart people are going to come and really talk about it. But before that, I would like to invite Raj and also Prashant to the stage, and also the CEO of Zaggle also. Just kind of give you a quick background. A lot of you looks like you know Raj here well. He is a very famous person, and we are happy. He is one of the few companies from Hyderabad, a product company, went public and doing very well. And allowed to kind of say a few words, what he sees. And why I invited Raj, we just found out a few months back, Raj actually acquired one of our company too early. We wanted one company, we invested DICE to go to next level, but Prashant said like, I'm going to be buddies with Raj, not with you anymore. So I was like, fine, we can't do anything about it. Once a founder decides who they want really date, we can't stop them. That's for sure. So Raj, love to kind of say thank you for coming. So They're just kind of completing actually this acquisition. And Raj is nice enough. Today we spent at his office. It's a beautiful office, and also he hosted all of us today for a nice lunch. Love to Raj to kind of say a few words, what he sees, and he has taken a company public. He knows a lot more than I do. I'm a dumb VC here. Hey, Prashant, please stay. Prashant.
Thank you so much, Dayakar, Gokul, Kiran, Shyam, and the team of DVC. Phenomenal team. I just wondering where was Dayakar 20 years back. When I raised my first round, I would have loved to have, Dayakar as my investor because, he's so helpful. And typically what happens is in the early stage of your life or your career or your entrepreneurship journey, what you need is a guiding angel. And what DVC is doing here is being a guiding agent to a lot of companies. And I have a friend, Raghu here, Raghav from Blue Copa. So, in fact, when I see all these companies where the hacker is investing, I just want to take over the fund. Okay, and that is my, first feeling which comes to me is, he's finding all these gems. And just when we looked at DICE, we were competing with DICE at one time, and we saw that DICE was winning all the contracts. And why were they winning the contracts? Because they built, phenomenal software. While Zaggle was, more into corporates and, on the payment rail side, we saw a beautiful fit in terms of, how their software stack and our payment stack would merge together to make a software payments company. While people ask, is SaaS going to be dead? For me, the answer is very clear that engineers and agents will work together and they will work side by side to be able to give the best possible outcome to the users. About Prashant is like a super human, in fact, with a lot of energy. The energy which actually, it becomes infectious. I am 54 and I think he is about 30, 28, 27. And that energy translates into lot of energy for us. And what we are seeing is that with that, we will be able to take a fast momentum towards capturing the market. And thank you so much. I'll ask Avinash to come in. He is the co-promoter of Zaggle and also the MD and CEO. And then we'll give it to
Thank you so much, Raj, and thank you, Dayakar and Gokul and Kiran and the DVC team for inviting us. I think Raj, said it beautifully that we saw a lot of value in what the DICE team has built. But to be very honest, and we've been very vocal with Prashant and Sonam and the team, is we're very excited about what can be built and what we believe we will build together in the coming years in the AI age. And that's what really excited us. And I think as the market grows in India, you will see more and more consolidation happen. And we believe that in the spend management space that we are, infusing the AI capabilities that we get through Prashant and team, we're going to be able to take those capabilities to global markets, US being the holy grail. And we'll pick Dayakar and Gokul and Kiran's brains, and we'll hopefully work together more in those markets. Yeah. Thank you so much. And Prashant, please, stage is yours.
Okay, so firstly, thank you so much. Thank you, Dayakar sir. Thank you, Raj sir. Thank you, Avinash sir. So very quickly, I'll talk about AI agent. This is what I do every day. So, but Dayakar sir was also talking about that. Yeah. So for me, the question for last few months has been whether you want agent in a sandbox or you want to give sandbox to the agent. So this is the quintessential question we all need to answer. One of the things that Dayakar sir was mentioning in the entire presentation was about how do we bring AI into the existing solutions, how do we bring in the new development and all, what SaaS, IT and other things would look like. For me personally, DVC had been a great help from the start. Like once we raised Series A, we were able to get out into international market. We were able to get out to enterprise customers. Once we met Raj sir and Avinash sir, we were able to get the deal quickly done with the support of DVC. So not just in the terms of fundraising, but also in terms of, let's say, exit and all. When you are closing and all, the fund comes to your help wherever you require their help in terms of dealing, negotiating and all. So that has been a very fine experience for us in terms of all of the founders here have seen one side of journey, raising funds, but maybe exiting out and then having those negotiations also help a lot. Also, in terms of overall, when we talk about DICE Zaggle journey, we are looking forward to building the financial future in terms of the hackers that talked about Anthropic launching financial legal agents, etc. We look forward to a more task-driven future wherein agents will be able to do the entire task for people autonomously without having, let's say, sort of unnecessary human in the loop. But with this, I wish you all the best, and we are looking forward to working with Raj sir, Avinash sir, and bringing in financial automation to you all.
Thank you. I'm telling you, like when Prashant came and presented to us in our boardroom, I remember, he was sweating. Literally was sweating. Now Raj told me, like, whenever he comes to us, he has 2 towels for him right now. Okay. Amazing energy. Come on, Gokul. Like, picture, please. Yeah.
Thanks, Raj and Avinash, for joining the DVC family. As you know, once we give our daughter in marriage, you become part of the family. So, and welcome on. And thanks, Dakar, for the detailed presentation on where how DVC is addressing the AI challenge. As you know, as through the evening, as we go by, we would have some of our founders again address the elephant in the room as to how AI is disrupting each one of their businesses and how each of our founders are adapting their businesses to ensure that this becomes their competitive advantage and they utilize the opportunity to grow further and grow with DVC. So to welcoming, I would like to welcome the founders from some of our portfolio companies. First, I would like to welcome Raghav from Blue Copa and have Devansh from Simply Smart. 5 years, please. Kishan from Mojro, Kishan Ashwath from Mojro. And we have Amit from iTuring. Okay. While we have about seven founders in the room, the reason why we selected these 4 founders is since the last time we met, these are the 4 companies where we have put money or we have given term sheets or we have added more money. And I would request Gokul to lead the panel and ask the questions and address the elephant in the room.
Hi, good evening, everyone, again. Thank you for being here. Welcome. Like Kiran said, we have 7 founders here. We have 8 companies represented here out of our 10 companies. So thank you all for being here, firstly. And we had a panel last year also. Some of the founders who came last year, you just saw Prashant on stage. Pramod is also here. We would like him also to come and say hello at some point before this evening winds up. Just want to, like Kiran said, I think given what has transpired in the last couple of years, more specifically in 2025, it would be interesting to hear from our portfolio companies, which are a mix of companies that are building in the various layers of software, right from infrastructure layer, about which Daikar spoke quite a bit, to application layer and companies that are touching data in a big way. So without further ado, I'll quickly jump into the questions. Maybe what I can do is, in the interest of time, Before you answer your first questions, can you give a 30-second about your companies and then answer the question? That way, there'll be more context to our audience also about who you are or refresh their memory about it. So my first question is to Raghav. I always catch him first. So Raghav, a lot has happened in the last 12 to 18 months. AI is a big thing. There's been disruption. If anybody has watched the Nasdaq market, you know how it is. I mean, that's one representative of what all are the thought processes that are happening in the IT industry, software industry, and where the touch point with the real world or the rest of the world is. Want to see at your ground level view, what are you seeing as changes that have happened ever since, for example, even from the time that DVC invested in the first round of capital to the next round that you recently ended up raising? What conversations within your organizations and with customers have changed with AI being specifically that big consideration in the room?
Sure. Thank you, firstly, for having me here. I am Raghav, co-founder of Blue Copa. We play in the CFO tech stack, largely in the finance operations automation front. We are a platform that does a lot of automations that manually happen today using a bunch of point solutions and a mix of people aspects. Clearly coming to the last 12 months, the change that we have seen, right? Consolidation of point solutions is happening, particularly in the CFO tech stack as we speak. And enterprises who were earlier very, very skeptical about piloting with early stage companies like ours, we have seen companies like Flipkart, for example, which is one of our customers, the likes of Walmart, which again is one of our customers, asking us to pilot at their end, which is never heard of, even in the ecosystems of these major players. So consolidation of point solutions is happening. There are also a lot of tools that are being taken out if you're not agentic, if the company feels there is no point in investing you if you're not going to catch up with the wave in the next 6 to 12 months. So that's also happening in parallel. Either we catch up with the wave very, very fast or we become very redundant. So that's what is happening as we speak. Having said that, as a company also, we had to change quite a lot in the last 12 months. In fact, post our last round, we had to reshuffle the whole leadership team, including some of the responsibilities that founders have been, founders have taken up before the round, right? Some of the changes I would want to highlight, given they're all driven by the way AI is evolving as we speak, right? One is, today, 80% of our code is literally written by AI, right? I'm sure some of the companies have touched maybe 100, but we are still at 80, so there's room for us to improve that way. But 80% of our code is written by AI. Our guys just come in to validate at a few places. And since we play in finance category, there needs to be that double lens of ensuring everything goes correctly. That is why we still have that 20% gap. That's on in the next roadmap is purely on AI, right? Next 12 months is going to be just rolling out AI features for customers because people are okay with the infrastructure which is already there. End usage using agents is what the whole requirement is. So that's going to be our product roadmap as well. Not just in the way we build the product, we deliver the product to customers, our internal operations also, for example, GTM side, right? Today, we send very, very custom decks to customers. Like Dayakar was mentioning, half an hour this slide was made. In fact, we make in half an hour the whole deck and send it to customers. Unless it's custom, today you don't win that market. We send custom decks, again, using a bunch of AI tools that are out there. Some of the internal operations are completely, when I say completely, that is 80-90% driven by AI. Some of the marketing teams we had to cut down because we knew AI can do much better job than people currently do. In essence, a year back when people were very skeptical about ROI from AI, projects, it has gone to a stage where enterprises are asking us, why don't you try out some of your AI agents at our end? And the likes of Walmart, which is unbelievable, right? We could not think of that 12 months back. So there's been drastic change in the way customers have been thinking. There is a very clear consolidation wave that we see. Some of our customers have asked us what more can we do in addition to what we currently do. So consolidation of point solutions is happening. Internal processes are completely getting disrupted with AI, which is where everybody has to, I think, realign, relook at how things have been done so far. And then, like I said, right, we had no option but to rejig among ourselves and change the responsibilities that we started with.
Thank you, Raghava. Thank you for the detailed response. We should congratulate Raghava because he is servicing Walmart not in India but globally. The global finance function of Walmart has identified Blue Copa as a partner, and That's quite impressive and quite a proud moment for an Indian company. So thank you. I'm going to put the same question to Amit also. So start off with telling us a little bit about iTuring, but also since you're also building applications and you've also had a fairly impressive momentum revenue growth in your US customer base also, apart from India and South Africa and other geographies that you are in. Give me your view of the same question. What has changed in the last 12, 18 months?
Yeah, thanks, Gokul. So I am Amit Kumar, co-founder of iTuring.ai. iTuring.ai is an enterprise AI/ML product company which focuses on helping enterprises to operationalize the AI model very quickly, right? So it offers a no-code platform which enables companies or customers to go from plan to production in 4 to 6 weeks time frame, dramatically reducing the total deployment time. And how do we do that is by by offering our no-code platform. And we are truly a AI company since beginning. We have been the AI company, but we are in the predictive side. But in last 2 years, we are also we enabled agentic AI part, and because we are seeing that by putting the predictive intelligence, the predictability part of the predictive side, and the agility of the agentic side can bring great value to the customers. So we have enabled a lot of agentic solutions on top of our predictive platform, like debt collection and customer acquisition and premium collection. And we see a great traction for that. Like this is something which is very good for the customer. They understand that, okay, this is how they can get the benefit and ROI from the AI and machine learning. So, and since we have been since beginning and an AI company, so we also feel that we are AI native company. So AI, we are also now enabling the agentic AI, MCP, LLM, SLM at the core of our platform. So recently, we also enabled LLM in all our product so that all support is being taken care by the LLMs now, SLMs basically, right? So these SLMs are deployed on CPUs. So to reduce my support cost, to reduce the support bandwidth. So all the error analysis, log analysis, fixed steps, everything is given by the SLM to the product user. So that is how we are using the technology now.
Thank you, man. So Devansh, when you're building a product and when you see the ground under you is changing so fast, how do you think about roadmaps and what should I plan for and where should I meet the customer's requirement? Where should I stop building it and start forming a view of things? So I would love for you to tell us a little bit about Simply Smart and then answer this question, and then the same question I'm going to direct to Mojro also.
Right. Thanks, Gokul. Hi, I'm Devansh. I'm the co-founder of Simply Smart. We are an MLOps platform. We help people train, optimize, deploy, and observe generative AI models in production. And yeah, just to answer your question, Gokul, I think that's one of the luxuries that we have as a horizontal platform because we're building, like the hacker said, picks and shovels. It helps us to sort of read the research that's coming out right now. So just to tell you a little bit about what's happening on the infra space particularly, right? We have a lot of people who are working directly on the silicon layer, trying to build memory transfers using silicon instead of copper as a transfer material, right? So that is somewhere around 2 to 3 years out, at least in pilot phases, right? So just to have that sort of a network, which of course a lot of it DVC also enables, that helps us sort of gather a lot of research level information, like understanding what's going on out there, so that we can prepare for it. Secondly, of course, there are tons of things that are happening, let's say with Anthropic, with OpenAI, the things that they are bringing out. Do you build infrastructure for sandboxes, or like like Prashant said, I think, do you give agent sandboxes, or do you put agents in sandboxes, right? So those kind of questions are always they're being answered by researchers ahead of time. So we generally try to keep up with that, right? That being said, a lot of times we do have to make micro pivots. We truly believe in micro pivots. We think that if you've thought about something like, okay, this is what's going to happen 6 months down the line, it may happen in 3 months instead of 6 months, right? So we have to adapt very fast. And I'm actually quite jealous of the amount of code that is being written by AI at Blue Copper, because I really want to get to the 80%. We are at around 50-60% today. But AI is really helping us there as well. So it's helping us speed our pace of development. And yeah, that sort of helps us do these micro pivots very quickly, build a horizontal layer that can adapt to this coming research. But of course, having that kind of insight into what's going on at a deeper ground level research, that definitely helps us keep pace with the evolving platform market as such right now. Yeah.
Thank you, Devansh. Kishan, your view?
Hi everyone, good evening. This is Kishan. I'm co-founder and CEO of Mojro. We are a logistics planning and optimization provider. We work with global enterprises, primarily in the FMCG, retail, dairy, courier express companies in optimizing their distribution, supply chain, for those of you who know, right? So for us, we've always been a AI first platform. Our algorithms, ability to learn while optimizing, how does external factors influence plan, which is very critical, and that's essentially what our differentiation has always been. So when AI picked up in the last 2-3 years, the LLMs and all that, we saw that as an opportunity. Essentially, we exist because we want to solve customers' problems, and this is a great opportunity to solve customers' problems much better, right? So we've seen that as an opportunity. Our roadmap from what was traditional AI, which is ML, learning and training and all of that, has now moved to like what some of the others were saying, LLM based, SLM based. For those of you who probably are not aware, when we optimize, it considers a lot of constraints, which influences how supply chain works and then optimizes. So to a human, when they consume our output, they always find it difficult to understand why the technology has recommended a plan a certain way. So we've used an area of AI which is called explainable AI, which describes why the output is the way it is, which in a great way solves the adaptation problem for us, right? So, and also the nature of our solution, we integrate with quite a few of source and downstream systems. So data and the quality of the data, quickly understanding the data and ingesting that into our system becomes critical. So we've used AI there as well. These are data agents, which essentially not just analyzes the data, but also corrects and fixes the data before it actually gets ingested into our system. We also, like what some of the others said, 2026 roadmap is making it more agentic, and also making it more dynamic, right? So supply chain, like I said, is influenced by real-time factors, and more dynamic the planning and optimization that we do, much better for our customers. So our roadmap is all about making this more agentic. We work with customers globally, US, India, Southeast Asia, and US especially likes our specialization and the fact that we are AI based. We are pretty new into the DVC family, probably the youngest in this. We look forward to working closely with DVC, especially Dayakar, in expanding our business in the US. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kishan. You're the newest kid on the block for us, but we've been quoting you for almost a year, so I think there is a lot of familiarity. Thank you. Dayakar spoke about Anthropic and his view of where things are and the fact that there is a moat, and you just need to look a little more into the details and find your niche. I'll put this question to probably Amit first and then to Raghava about what do you think is going to be your moat that these foundational models just don't keep building features that eat into your space. And then I will probably have Devansh give us the last word on that. Are they going to come into the infra layers as well? And data centers are a big, neoclouds are a big factor in your growth. And are they going to come and disrupt that as well?
Yeah. So we have been observing all these new models and plugins which is coming every week. And what we believe is that for enterprises, they will not be able to use the global models effectively because of the cost, and it doesn't need the universal intelligence to solve a specific problem. So the future is going to be, as per us, is like SLM-based domain-specific model, language model, which can be deployed on the CPU, which is faster, cheaper, on-premise, ensuring the data privacy is something which enterprise will go, after. That is one thing. And second thing is these, models, language models are not working on the governance and the accuracy effect, right? So we also feel that the governance need not to be just a checkbox. It has to be there for the enterprise solution. So having a SLM with the right governance and right control mechanism is the future for the language model in the enterprise.
Thank you. I fully agree. So I'll not repeat what he said. I think a couple of more things that we think are mode for us, at least in the CFO tech stack that we play, where accuracy is given topmost priority. Two things very, very clearly that in fact is included in our product roadmap is that how accurate can you be is the mode. Because everybody is going to have agents, particularly in finance, right? If there is nothing called 99.9% accuracy also, you are either 100% there or you're not there. It's very, very binary. So our measurement is going to be how accurate are we in finance context. For example, in case of marketing, even if you have 80-85% accurate info that you would need, you can obviously have human in the loop and manage a lot of things. But when you have customers who have billions of transactions happening, 1-2 transactions here and there also are going to screw the whole trust that Blue Coupa brings in. So trust and accuracy is one primary factor. Second is the pace at which we roll out, along with some of the releases that Anthropic would do. Right, we are also at the back end using all the plumbing that Anthropic and OpenAI are giving us. The advantage that we have is that in addition to using the broader intelligence that these companies offer, company-specific information, understanding the user persona and exposing only that level of insights to that particular user. When there are exceptions, how do you comply to company policies and then ensure those compliances are taken care? Those company-specific things are factored into Blue Coupa in addition to the generic intelligence that's there. So these two additional points.
Sure. Very true. And what Raghav was saying is absolutely right. I mean, in the AI summit last week, I had a chance to sit in the audience when Jan LeCun was speaking. And, he's such a big academician who's worked in the area of intelligence for a long time, built models around that. And, for him, it's been a 30-year effort. So when people talk about applications and when people talk about AI disrupting everything in the world, he has a counter view. He says, this has been around for 30 years, so you think in 3 years something can just come and just hit and move everybody away. It is going to disrupt, it is going to cause, some kind of trepidation. But it's not like AI can just like that come and one size fits all replace everything out. So I think things like accuracy and lesser hallucination, all of this has a journey still to go. And obviously we saw that. I mean, he worked on Meta and we saw what happened with Meta in 2017 or 18 when that big issue blowed out about Myanmar crisis. So, computer models don't always win against humans. So I think that's how I expect things to play out. So Devansh, your last word on this.
Oh yeah, Gokul, if I understand your question correctly, it's what their impact is going to look like on the data center aspect of it, right? So
anything on the infra physical layer, not just data centers.
For sure. So looking at what Dario is posting day by day, all bets are off. I don't know what's going to happen, but I have a fair idea on or what we think at least is going to happen next, right? What we understand is like as a data center point of view, there are only 3 key things that are important. So capital in terms of cash and land, water and electricity. I think that's why we have a lot of regional players in data centers. And I think around 150 odd NCPs across the world, right, who have 4,000 odd GPUs or more, right? So, and that's been increasing significantly. So of course, there's going to be a lot of regional players who understand the region, who understand like how to build a data center on a particular area of the world. They're always going to exist. But of course, when we talk about the software layer on top of it, given the capabilities that we've seen for Cloud Code, I think there was a recent tweet by Dario that brought the IBM stock down by some 13 odd %, that it understands COBOL now and it does it better than what IBM does. I think that's not very far when we'll see CUDA kernels being written very well by these models as well. We already have a competition going on called Kernel LM competition, which is already people are writing kernels using large language models, right? So there's going to be, definitely there's going to be impact. there. There's going to be impact on how we monitor data centers. There's going to be impact on how we manage energy that's flowing into that. When do we switch on certain machines? When do we switch it off? Maintenance, everything else, right? So a lot of it is going to be automated. There's tons of manpower that goes into like sort of maintaining this. So definitely that's going to reduce. We're going to get a lot more efficient in terms of managing our compute a lot. But that being said, the innovation, and I'll agree with the panel here, the innovation that comes from humans, the sort of loopholes I would say that we are able to find is something that eventually the AI is trained on. So it's always the edge resides with human beings eventually, or at least I hope that it does. But yeah, I mean, all in all, it's going to be much more efficient, much more faster to sort of innovate in that space, because again, it's a very difficult space to get into, honestly. Cloud or any other such models are actually reducing the barrier to entry, which I think is a great thing overall, right? It's going to democratize a lot of these efficiencies as well.
Absolutely. I agree with you. Thank you. The last question to finish this panel today is to Kishan. So Kishan, if smart founders like you are seeing it right, building it the right way, there is moat and Anthropics of the world are not going to disrupt you, then what is it that is keeping you and what should keep others awake at night? What should you all worry about in terms of building, growing your organization, scaling up in the world of AI?
I think it's a great question. I think what really keeps me awake is how do I reach my customers faster and better, right? And I'm selling into enterprises. Product is a great thing with AI coming in. The moat, product as a moat probably is a little more blurred. But I think the world, the winners in this world are going to be how fast you can actually distribute your product to the customers, right? Especially in this changing world. So anything that we can do to bring in accelerated GTM is what I would be focused on, right? So that's essentially what I would like to say.
I'll just add, maybe with a small joke here. The same question our investor asked in the last board meeting: what keeps you awake? Accidentally, we said my 3-year-old son keeps me awake in the night. But on a serious note, I think great point that is touched upon now is that in fact, a lot of conversations typically happen around product mode, which is definitely there, right? And I don't think whatever is mode today is going to be the mode 3 months down the line from a product standpoint. That cap is coming down drastically. One mode that everybody needs to focus on is on the distribution side mode, right? Particularly Indian software, if there's no option but to sell globally. If you have to sell globally, if you start going to each market and start selling to individual customers, I don't think that's going to happen, and we will never be able to scale. The kind of partnerships, the strategic partnerships that you can build, the kind of initial set of logos that can create virality in the market, for example, those would become more relationship-driven roles are going to be key differentiating factors within the organizations. So emphasis on GTM side, partnership side, collaboration side are going to be the true modes. Product mode, like I said, right, you will never have a product mode beyond say 3 to 6 months. It will continuously change. If you lose that game, you are anyway out of the market. But however good the product is, distributed mode needs to be very, very, very strong, which is where most of us lack, very honestly.
Wonderful comments. There is no substitute for human touch, and the old economy is not going to die in the AI world. I think that's really the message here. Thank you. Wonderful insights. Fantastic panel. I'm so glad that we heard all of this. I would love for you to hear more in your conversations later on, and I would love for you to also hear what Pramod is doing in IntelliWings, what Kiran, if he's here, is doing in Blue Sapphire. Not seen Kiran now, but Prashant of DICE literally took a class for us on AI agents over breakfast for me and Daikar this morning. So fantastic set of people. You're going to hear wonderful insights. Keep the conversation going. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gokul, Amit, Kishan, Raghav, and Devansh. Raghav stayed back for this event today, and the remaining 3 traveled from Bangalore to share their thoughts, and they'll be there over the dinner, and you can exchange a lot more. You can have a lot more conversations and pick their brains. I would also like to recognize some very distinguished advisors who are there amidst us today. First of all, I would like to request Jayant. Patwardhan. Yeah. Jayant is a GCC veteran and he has been helping our companies crack the GCC market and advising us, particularly on the BFSI side. Thanks, Jayant, for traveling all the way from Pune. And we have Ashok Vasan. Ashok, again is a supply chain software veteran. He has started his career with I2 and over the last 30 years built a significant domain expertise on supply chain. And specifically, he's working with Mojro. And we also have Srini Gurapu. Srini is again a cyber security expert. He's come all the way from Dallas. And he is also working with one of our portfolio companies, Blue Sapphire, very closely. While they have extensive experience which goes beyond their domains, but this also they also have a vertical experience which we are picking up on. Thank you all for traveling all the way and joining us this evening. Also, I'd request my colleague and partner Shyam to come over here and quiz quickly on Pramod from IntelliWings, who has been doing some very exciting work, and also Matthew from VUNet. Okay. These are again some of our stellar companies we would like to showcase what all is happening and what they have been doing. Again, it's not a panel. We'll have a quick 2-minute discussion. Please come onto the stage. But Shyam, maybe your quick 2 questions.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Thank you, Pramod and Matthew, to be coming here. So quick questions. One question, obviously, is quick intro about you and your company, what you are doing. And the second thing is today is all about AI, right? So how you are adopting, are you AI first or AI native, all those buzzwords, right? And then what has been your journey from a product perspective and also client adoption perspective on how you are adapting for the latest changes in the AI. These are the 2 questions, so we can go one after the other. Pramod to start.
So all the questions to be answered in one go. Hi everyone, very good evening. I'm Pramod, the founder and CEO of IntelliWings. We are solving very serious problem, which is in compliance space. We are stopping money laundering. We are stopping terrorist financing, and in some parts, mule networks also. And it is AI native company, AI first company. In fact, our first client we got HDFC Bank way back in 2021 because our models beat the global players. So our journey has been, I mean, it is full of the rides and bumpy road, but we have gone through a journey. It is Chandigarh-based company. We have 250 plus clients today, including HDFC Bank, HDFC Ergo, Tata Payment, Tata Capital, and also a lot of SMEs, 200 plus SMEs in UAE. And I'll answer the second part after the introduction from him.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Matthew. I head the delivery unit systems. We are based out of Bangalore. So we are basically an AI-driven big data platform which does an end-to-end monitoring of transactions in IT and application space. So our main customers today are banks. We also have few non-bank customers. So in simple words, basically, if you do any transaction, I'm sure you would have used a Google Pay today, right? The 3-4 rounds of circles, what happens during that time is something that we are monitoring at NPCI. Just to give you an idea, the scale at which we monitor close to 30 billion plus transactions per month. So there's the kind of volume that we manage, obviously because we stay in a country like India where the volumes are so high. So that's what our company does. We have large logos, ICICI Bank, NPCI. We are on the verge of finishing few more people per set of banks also. So yeah, go to the second question.
Yeah. So about the journey, I think you asked about the journey, product journey also. So as I said, we are into compliance space, stopping money laundering and terrorist financing. So we have global negative screening data, which is checking the global sanctions, PEP and adverse media. PEP is politically exposed person check. Adverse media is checking any patterns on money laundering, drug trafficking, human trafficking, smuggling. And through this offering, I'm proud to say that we stopped 2 real cases of terrorist financing. actually that serve the sense of purpose which we were looking at. And also we have the transaction monitoring module also, where we check for any suspicious transaction which is happening cross-border or cash, remittance, or NEFT, RTGS, any of the modes which is present in the payment system. And the question on the AI thing which you were asking, that, okay, the fear and anxiety and you can say also the excitement about what is happening. So there is a mix of feeling. Everyone is talking about it, and we also have it. So you have to be awake all the night, thinking about it, what is next. And we have built significant board, but we have to make sure that it is very sharpened to the use case. So it is like, I was giving the example to Gokul and Dayakar today in our discussion today, that whether you have an axe or you have a knife is doing very focused work. Axe cannot do the knife's work. So we are actually building very sharpened models for the use cases. And somebody, I think Blue Copa, Raghav was talking about accuracy. That was very important point. If you're focused on the models which are targeted for use cases, it is harder for LLMs of the world, the Anthropic of the world, to replace you faster. When you cannot predict 1 year down or 2 year down the line what would happen, because SaaS was a hot thing one time, but it is, people fear to use the word now. But what we can envision today is sharpened focus, smaller models for the use case, and the accuracy would be the moat, and also distribution is of course the king. Thank you.
Basically, you are talking about something like surgical strike from the use case perspective. Yeah. Nice. Please go ahead, Matthew.
Yeah, thank you. So we have our agentic AI-based product called Ved. So through that, what we are, in fact, the latest RFP that we are participating in, one of the top 5 public sector banks. So if you understand, see in the world where an issue happens, where you have to find an RCA, a root cause analysis has to be done, we'll have multiple teams participating. It could be the infra, the application layer, the database layer, the all would be in a call, and probably they'll talk to 5-6 hours, and probably nothing will come out, right? So what we are talking today through this agent in this pilot that we are doing is talk to an incident. So we are not talking to human beings. So it is like, okay, oh, you are an incident? Where did you actually first occur in the system? Please talk to me. So the whole ecosystem, which required so many people to be there in a to talk to, now our agent is actually talking to the person who's actually trying to figure out the root cause. So this is the level at which we are trying to operate today. I think in terms of while we have to be there where we are, we also have to deal with customers who are probably in a very primitive state in terms of how, especially the public sector banks, some of them are very archaic in the way they think. So we have to keep how to say, customizing the way we talk to them. In the customers have to be mapped at different level of maturity, and that's the kind of decision talk that we have to have with them. So yeah, so that's the state right now. Yeah.
Thank you, Matthew and Pramod. I'm pretty sure everybody will have some more questions. We'll have those offline conversations.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you. As you would have heard from 6 of our portfolio companies and founders about what they are doing different in this age of AI. We also have some of the ecosystem leaders over here. And next we'll have a small fireside chat with some of the ecosystem leaders. For that fireside chat, I would call Dr. Pannirselvam Madanagopal. He's the CEO of Meridien Startups Hub. And I would like to call the independent member of our investor advisory committee, Mr. Krishnamurthy Vijayan, to come on to the stage. Please. Thanks, So for people connected with the startup ecosystem of Hyderabad, Dr. Pannirselvam or Dr. PS as we call.
Do PS. That's good
Yes,
enough.
okay. PS and Mr. Krishnamurthy, Krish, okay. So yeah, we are saving a lot of power on AI. So okay, PS is not a stranger. He was the Chief Innovation Officer of Hyderabad, and as you go out on the way while you are picking up your gifts, there is also a nice sweet packet from Almond House. You, so it's a coincidence, but he was the brand builder for Almond House. And Krish has been in the world of investing and fund management for more than 3 decades, 4 decades. He has started many fund houses and handled thousands of crores of investor money. And he has also been instrumental in shaping the policy, both working on some of the regulatory committees in the country and helping shape the policy for investors in this country. Thanks, Krish, and thanks, Dr. PS. Now, very interestingly, if you see, I was just looking at the panelists. Everybody has, probably except for Raghav from Blue Copa, everybody has traveled from different parts of the country to be with us. Krish has traveled in from Chennai. Dr. PS is from Delhi, but he has come in from Bangalore. Hopefully, you had some time to rest after this thing. But I see you already been across multiple cities since the last 1 week.
This is the third city after the AI summit.
AI summit. It's
I
madness.
couldn't say no to this. I mean, I have two reasons. Hyderabad is my favorite. Heart is here, and I have my school senior and college senior. Gokul invite me. There's no way I could say no to that.
He continues to rag you. Okay, so Dakar briefly spoke about what we have seen at the AI summit, the scale. Okay, for if any of you have been there, you would have experienced it. But 3,000 plus speakers, 2.5 lakh people attending that, managing an event of that scale. PS and his team have done an amazing job, I should say. But PS, very quickly to start off, what were the key objectives of this summit and what did you achieve? Because AI is a very technical subject.
Yeah, so I'll just put some numbers in perspective. This is an event this is AI Impact Summit. That's what we wanted. The objective was to create an impact in terms of how AI will touch a common person in the country. I think if you have a phone, the way AI is being diffused today, if you have a mobile phone, a smartphone, AI will touch you and affect you, right? So it's very important for us to create the awareness among the entire strata of society in terms of understanding what is AI and how AI works and how it can impact them even without them realizing that it is being there, right? So the primary objective was to create awareness. I think we did that really, really well. I'll just correct the numbers. We had almost 500,000 visitors in 5 days, 6 days, and we extended it by a day, 16 to 21st. We had 110 countries represented, 22 heads of states, including the French President Emmanuel Macron and Mr. Lula from Brazil. So almost 100 ministerial delegations. So the numbers is crazy. But what was the objective is when I drove home after the third day or second day, my car driver was very curious to know what AI is and how it will impact him and impact his children. I think that is what we really intended to set, because India, a lot of people asked how, is the US way better? Is the Chinese way better? I think the India way will be very different from these two ways. And for us, it's not just about AI driven by few very well established companies, or, we want to ensure that AI is in the public, digital infrastructure space. And that's where the objective is, to kind of broad base it and make a common person understand. I think that's what we try to achieve.
So democratize AI, and
absolutely,
probably some of these 110 countries would not have had a population of 500,000. But yeah, PS, it's generally said that India is a little late of the block in the AI race, while we have been an IT leader. China and US seem to be significantly ahead of India at this stage. What do you see as among the 5 layers of AI stack? Where do you see the biggest opportunity for India to really make a difference and claim its leadership status again?
Well, I think each country has its own trajectory in terms of, obviously, if you take manufacturing, China's base is 10 years ahead, 15 years ahead of us. You look at, technology, probably US is about in 10, 12 years ahead of us. So there is each country has its own trajectory. What AI offers differently is the ability to leapfrog is much more possible, which is not possible in a conventional sector or a category like manufacturing. It takes that time, it takes that effort to build that ecosystem. But in a technology like AI, we have the ability, we have the talent pool, and now we have the will and investment being made, so that there is a very very high chance of leapfrogging and getting into that league very quickly. So that is where I would like to look at it, because there is a first mover advantage, but there is also a follower advantage. You can learn from what went right and what went wrong and build accordingly. And more importantly, I think each of these two markets that you mentioned have very different dynamics which vis-a-vis India, and we have built our own way of doing things, and it is very important to continue that even in the AI space. I think that's where the overall strategy is. What is good for India, what is good for what will work in India, and what will be inclusive AI, and more importantly, how can we even take it to the global south, which who even don't even have probably the capacity to invest in the kind of capabilities that we are doing it. So it's a little bit more different strategy is what we are playing out.
Yeah, fair enough. We'll get to the details of specific areas. But Krish, you have seen through your career many cycles of disruption. This is a very anxious period for a lot of investors as to how are their investments shaping up, and would they sustain this entire storm. How do you see, so what are the key aspects that an investor should focus in these current times to ensure that their portfolio stays protected?
Actually, one thing that you learn by if you're in the market is that everything that goes up comes down. I joined Unit Trust of India just after the 1986 crash. So that was learned the hard way. The important thing I think is that technology, just think about the caveman. The day the knife was invented, he thought that his strength in tearing the body parts of animals to eat is gone. The knife only made life easier, and more people could tear body parts and eat them. And from then on, I have never seen a case where technology has actually not been encashed by the human race. Second, to Mr. Paneerselvam's point, in '88, we had a huge union negotiation where the class 3, class 4 were very scared that one PC, HCL had given us one PC, Tandy had given us one PC. They thought that this is going to ruin our lives. So we started training programs for everybody. Regardless of rank, you just sat there and learned. One day a peon was caught playing games, and they wanted to issue him a charge sheet, a memo. My boss, who was the head of HR at that time, said, no, make more people play, just make it available, remove the lock. And sure enough, UTI is one of the most computerized companies in the entire banking and financial services world. And that's exactly what the AI Summit has done. If the milkman, the truck driver starts asking about it, they're going to figure it out. I will not be able to figure it out, neither will you. But they will figure it out and they'll encash it.
So in this scenario, particularly over the last couple of years, the public market returns have been a little muted, and there is, as you see, we just discussed IBM crashing by 13% with one announcement. One blog post is wiping off trillions of dollars. So should investors look at their portfolio a little differently? How are family offices looking at it? Particularly, I'm asking that because we have a lot of investors who are just testing out this particular space, the AIF space. And so how should they look at their portfolio and diversification?
A bank deposit will typically give you post-tax about 5%. the bond market is likely to give you around 7% post-tax. The listed equity space, at one time we could say that in a 5-year period, the return would be around 20%. But this doesn't happen over a short time window. If you're investing over 10 years in a country that is growing at 7.5%, the best companies are likely to give you 12 to 13%. Anything more than that, you are lucky. Buy a lottery ticket on the same day. Now, for all normal people, the middle class guy, the guy who's working as a lower division clerk, these investments make a lot of sense. The little more sophisticated investors would probably say, okay, I'll buy a bungalow in Ooty. But then you're going to miss the entire drift of what's happening in this company. 220,000 startups in Startup India. Plus, he's a new entrant. He has a separate Startup India, which has another 25,000 startups. In addition to that, there are 1,200 incubators, Atal incubators, college incubators, personal incubators, and there's no count of that. If you want to catch that young India emerging out of the whole universe of countries which are aging, it's going to be in the venture capital, private equity space. My suggestion is, don't go with the cowboys. Go with people who have a well-stated process and have no intention of getting in trouble with SEBI. By and large, that's a very good benchmark. You will lose, you will win, but on the overall, you might be able to achieve a 18 to 20% return. The moment you start aiming for 35%, take up drug smuggling. Very good profession.
If I can just add to that, I think the space of looking at investors, looking at companies. I think the fundamentals don't change. I think the fundamental is that are you serving your customer? The only thing that changes is the ability of the company to pivot, micro pivot, and be the agility is multi-x now. Right, it's not because the rate at which the new products are coming into. So you need, if you're operating at a 2x agility now, probably you need to look at 8x, 10x agility, and you can't really slack in your responsiveness to the market, and that's something which is now extremely critical. Rest of the fundamentals remain the same. I think I always say the entrepreneurship, the company may fail, the entrepreneur should not fail. So that's the most important part. So the entrepreneur needs to kind of keep pivoting himself.
Very interesting statement. The company can fail, but the entrepreneur should not fail. Yeah, that spirit of entrepreneurship should go on. And again, PS, coming back to what we are seeing in India. Today, whichever report you see, India seems to be one of the countries with the highest adaptation of AI. And people seem to be becoming friends with AI much faster than fearing that. So what sort of opportunities does this offer to in the domestic AI startups? And what sort of visible change on the ground have you seen in the AI startup ecosystem over the last 2 to 3 years that you have been at meeting?
So I think this is again another interesting about this technology. You see far higher adoption in the D2C level, right? If you take the client server era, if you take the cloud era, if you take each of those technology, is largely enterprise adoption is much faster. Then trickle down to the SMBs and probably then to the SOHOs, the small office or single home office owners. In this case, it's almost the reverse. You have almost 1 billion plus users in India, across the world in terms of AI tools and Chat GPT or beat any other product. So there is a significant, and that's to my mind is a great opportunity for startups to build. Look at this as probably the way you have like your UPI. right? On top of it, you build solutions on top. That's what another aspect of Indian AI strategy is, also make the AI a digital public infrastructure, so that you build layers and you build solutions on top of that, be it for a student community, be it for for the elderly, be it for different consumer segments that you want to. So there is a huge opportunity for startups to build solutions on top of this, and I think that's a huge potential that a lot of people, in fact, can work on. And there is also a huge challenge. I just coming out of another roundtable where the challenges in the adoption of AI in the enterprise side, especially in the SMBs. Change management is going to be a very, very important thing. You have to change your entire workflow to adopt AI. Retrofitting AI into existing workflow is going to be a very, very a futile effort, is what I'm looking at.
So the AI natives are going to beat the ones which are trying to just adapt and putting up wrappers around AI.
Possible.
Okay. So the other question is, yeah, there seems to be a lot of opportunity, but if you see the headlines, just this week, Anthropic has attracted an investment of $30 billion. But the India AI mission, the total budget over the next 5 years seems to be about $1 billion. So what sort of a change and what's the impact of that $1 billion that you are expecting to see on the ground?
Well, that's a very tough question, right? We have to live with reality also, right? There's budget, there is an amount. As I said, there is a cap on how much government can pump into this. How much of this 30 billion is actually government money from the international market? I think that's where the investment community needs to step up. I think one of my submission to the investment community is also, if you're looking at bold bets, I think that is something that is very important to take now, and bold bets on Indian startups, on Indian founders, which is now which will change the way this will change, because there is only a limited amount of money that the government. Keep in mind, we still have about almost a significant percentage of our population below the poverty line. We have to walk the balancing act. There is definitely a large amount of investment coming in into the AI thing, but at the same time, there's only a limited cap on how much we could put.
So on that note, Krish, there is, as PS said, there is only a limited investment which is coming in from the government. It's much more like a seed to sort of fuel and catalyze a few objectives. And most of them are also social objectives. How should founders look at raising money, and particularly in today's age where of supernovas and shining stars, and moment somebody says AI, the expectation is there will be 100 million in the next 1 year. Okay. What sort of funding should fundraise should founders do, and what should they aspire for?
I'll answer it in three parts. First, government. In 2004, Mr. P. Chidambaram made a provision that the pension funds could invest in equity, in the equity markets. That has been one of the largest reasons that today, even if FIs pull out, our market doesn't collapse. In the same way, I think our HNI population must be educated in the thing, because government cannot. The problem with also is psychological. If government gives you money, it is a subsidy. You take it, you vote for them, you are done. Whereas when a private investor gives you money, you're more disciplined. The second part of this is that $30 billion often is a very large commitment, of which only 1 billion will actually come in. The rest of it is hype. It'll come in conditional to this, conditional to that, etc. By and large, don't get taken in by those numbers. The most successful entrepreneurs are those who are frugal in their innovation. In fact, one of my reasons for rejecting an investment would be if I went the day after an IPO and found that a Mercedes had been bought. And frugal innovation is India's specialty. You just think about whatever we have done it at a tenth of the cost of the world. And it helps that the purchasing power parity of the rupee is actually 1/5 of the current dollar value. Purchasing power parity of 1 rupee, $1 to the Indian rupee is 21 compared to 90 plus. So we can buy a lot more. We can do a lot more with the same buck. So I think $1 billion is a huge signaling.
Okay, so frugal innovation, you are saying, will definitely take us long, and the founders should raise accordingly, or should or should they sort of raise target the huge raises to compete in the international market?
I'll just
Not
add to that.
necessary. Oh, sorry. Please go ahead.
I'll just add to that. I think if you're watching the India AI Summit, our minister also, announced a commitment of almost $19 billion FDI coming into AI deep tech sector in the country. It was made in the AI Summit. $19 billion committed into deep tech into the Indian market. So that's also if you, I think that's what I'm. If you build fundamentally strong companies with solutions that are agile and delivering value, money will come from whichever part of the world.
And do you think, Krish, with that sort of money, Indian AI startups are well positioned to capture global market and succeed in the global market?
I think that's where people like you play a very major role, because if $19 billion coming in, he's not going to fly down somebody from the US to manage that money. It has to come through funds like yourselves. And if you've seen one measure that the government has also done, the Research and Innovation Fund is a fund of funds. So I think their
matching funds, 1 lakh crore by government, 1 lakh crore by industry.
So that's, I think it's a very positive sign. Critically, I think what I would probably think will happen, and I'm rather optimistic about it, is that with the amount of awareness that is coming, you're going to find that the next AI genius comes from Chhattisgarh or Jharkhand or something. It need not necessarily be somebody who can speak like us.
And that's the one of the key 7 points of India AI mission, to enable this AI spread in tier 2 and tier 3 cities. Yeah. So, lovely thoughts. And before we close, PS, your parting thoughts for the founders as to how should they navigate, you having seen the entire India AI ecosystem from a vantage position, how should founders position themselves to succeed both domestically and globally?
I think, I mean, I've been repeating this, not just here, wherever. The most important part is, are you fundamentally solving a real problem? Where there is somebody who's willing to pay for the solution, and the solution is scalable. That's the key element, followed by 2 things, and the ability of yours to kind of now build from India for the global standards. I think everywhere we have been in the past, we have gotten beaten down, is the standards we set up. Domestic standards are very different from the global standards. We need to up our game in terms of the quality of products and solutions that we build for the international market, because now by default you are competing with international products, and hence you need to also look inward into your company and saying what is the kind of talent you are attracting, the depth of talent you have, the ability of you to retain that talent and ensure that and last but not the least, your ability of you to use the ecosystem support. Today, we are providing a GPU facility less than $1, 67 rupees per hour is what 38,000 GPUs are available on pay-per-use facility. We've just added another 20,000 GPUs for the use of not just large corporates and SMBs, even for startups. In fact, it was largely for startups. So the ability to use the public infrastructure support system that is available, and I think that's what, and most importantly, focus on building and creating world-class products. That is the key. Because I'll be very honest, I've met hundreds of startups. After the 3rd or 4th question, they start struggling on what they're really building AI in how AI is supporting their startup. Otherwise, today I used to call them the AI tadka. You can put like in dal, everybody puts a tadka, right? The AI tadka startups is we have to cut that froth. Look at fundamentally good companies.
No, thanks. And I think that's a very valuable advice. Yeah, typically, a lot of them, everybody puts an AI tags and AI to that, but you scrape the surface. Then you would see that there's nothing AI about that. But Krish, probably for the investors, this is a generational opportunity. But investing in deep tech, investing in AI is also a very different animal compared to investing in traditional stories. So, what is your one advice to the investors over here to make the best out of this opportunity?
If you don't mind, I'll give one advice to the investors and one to the companies. To the investors, I would say that funds is the best way to go because you cannot be an expert in every subject. And choose funds which have a technical background, people who understand what they're talking about. If you come and tell me about AI, it is ChatGPT. And these people talk about SLM, ALM, this and that, doesn't mean anything to me. I'm not your fund manager. Your fund manager are people who really understand technology. If they do, those are the funds you should pick. To the companies, one advice that I've been given to all my clients actually is that international sales is not America. Africa, there are some very, very safe countries there. It's not everywhere that you'll get assassinated. Emerging Asia, particularly the old CIS countries. Kyrgyzstan, 22,000 Indian students. Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Azerbaijan, Armenia. These are all markets. You will not get the kind of dollar returns that you can get if you sell to America, but it's also so much easier, so less crowded. And in almost every one of these countries, I have an honorary council in India who is geared towards helping do business with that country. Talk to them. It'll open out a market. It'll be Forex. And you will not get shot.
Yeah, thanks. That's a great point, Krish. We have about 4 or 5 honorary councils in Hyderabad itself. We'll be happy to connect them. In fact, Kazakhstan, I think Kazakhstan or Azerbaijan. Kazakhstan.
Mr. Ali,
Nazar. So, and Korea, we have Mr. Suresh Sukapalli. So, we have got quite a few of them and we can actually connect and help them out. No, I think great points, Krish, PS. Thanks for coming here and sharing out your valuable knowledge. And I'm sure we'll pick your minds over dinner at Riggs as we go by. Sure. Thanks. Yeah, there is so much to talk, but there is always so much. I know. Hopefully, all of you are reading the quarterly reports that we have been diligently sending, and hopefully, you also notice the changes we have made in the reports over the last few quarters. But there's nothing like talking to you when you are in present about how the fund is doing and what's the performance of the fund over the last 1 year. What has happened since last time we met over here? I would now like to invite Gokul to talk about the fund presentations. We know that we are standing between you and dinner and further drinks, but rest assured it will not be too long. We'll quickly give you a fund performance update. A lot of that should not be news, but yeah, Gokul.
I don't know how much you can see here. Maybe I'll just move this. And I know that there is dinner coming up shortly, but I'll keep it very quick. See, the year that went by showed us some of the things that Krish just acknowledged in the last panel. Stay disciplined, stay true to your process. And that sometimes means doing the slow run so that you last the marathon. So that's how 2025 was for us in many ways, because there was a lot of hype when 2024 second half people were talking about opportunities and there was FOMO, And we just stuck to what our process was. And I acknowledged it a little while back when I told Kishan, we may have just put money with you, but for a year we've been talking to you. And I mean, you can say a year was probably a little bit long and a little exaggerated too, but we had to get comfortable, build our thesis, get the conviction. So we kept doing all of this even through our through all this FOMO storm that was hitting us because of AI. And that's exactly what all these bullet points are going to tell you. And I'll just come to the bottom half of that, which said here. So we are a fund in our 4th year of deployment. And last year, if you remember, we had presented charts which said that, 4 years, when you're towards the end of your deployment, the fund cycle is that your NAV sort of follows that U pattern. And so we are somewhere in that trending down and coming up part of the U curve. But that's also the time when we start thinking about some of our early companies and exits. And you saw Dice on stage. It's an exit that happened for us, and we are working on another also, so probably you'll hear more from us on that. So Kiran was quoted by VC Circle here, and talking about some of the same things that, when valuations are unreasonable, you stay disciplined to your process. So I just wanted to acknowledge Kiran's quote here. This is a chart we showed you last year when we said that 96 crores was deployed and deployable capital is about 230 crores. We want to show you an update of this in what's happened in the last 12 months in that period when I said that we were grinding through our diligence process. We ended up investing 44 crores more. There is one other deal that we added, Mojro, but iTuring had just gotten done at during that point, and I don't think we had funded it yet. So technically, we had done 2 investments. The Blue Copa follow-on happened. We participated in the next round. We put a little bit of money. We upped our capital and increased our stake also. And in that process, we also went through a number of deals before we picked our winner, which is Mojro. So this is how our deployment is. Our velocity has actually gone up, and that's because we are now in the far end of our deployment cycle. We've shown that from 49 crores last year, including deals that are just getting done, if you include Simply Smart as well, we're close to 67 crores of deployment by the end of March in the next 1 month or so. The following year is going to be another 67 crores of deployment. That will be the balance to close out the fund. But we may not invest all of it because we will keep some of that money for follow-ons also. So I'm expecting that we'll probably deploy, say, 40 to 45 crores and keep the balance 20 crores or $3 million for follow-ons. We'll see how the year goes. It all depends on the kind of deals that we get, the kind of maturity that some of our initial companies are showing, and what kind of opportunities they present to us. But this is roughly how the velocity is going to be. Oh, sorry. The new investments, we spoke about Mojro, iTuring, and then the follow-ons were the 3 companies. Hippo, a quick word on Hippo Video. That's one of the companies that was disrupted by Gen AI, and it shrunk. And the next slide, I'll explain a little bit. I've shown that as a follow-on also because it was a choice between, keeping the company going or accepting that it's going to hit a wall. And we don't accept that any company should hit a wall. So we put a very, very minuscule sum of money, about $50,000 into that company. But we still have been helping them quite a bit. And I'll tell you, so coming to the slide, the far end of it, the right side, we're helping the companies that are struggling a little bit. Blue Sapphire is flattened a little bit, but actually it's not a pure flat. The company has built some very interesting features in SAM and AI, and Srini Gurappu here, thanks to you, you've been helping us quite a bit ideate through the product features and how we should think about customers and solutions. We are looking for M&A options there also. And Srini, your effort has been invaluable for us. We've been very happy to bring somebody like Srini into the picture. Hippo Video, Daikar himself has put in a lot of effort. There is a hospitality client that we introduced them to. Our founder, based in Chennai, moved to Dallas, sat with Daikar. We rejigged the product, and so we put a little bit more money into the company. Blue Sapphire, we are definitely expecting that the company is going to return money for us. Shyam is dedicating nearly 60-70% of his time on that. So we are putting in a lot of effort into it. And that's why it's on that red bracket. On the yellow side and everything else left of that, the yellow is not to say that there is some yellow light flashing there or something. It's just that we've done more investment into the company and therefore you will not immediately see it in terms of results. But I'm happy to tell you that Blue Copa raised its next round at probably 2x for what they raised before. And also the round was led by a very, very accomplished team, venture capital team in Singapore. And so they have a great set of co-investors for us to work with. A team of people that was managing money in KKR has now started a new fund. And we also are very happy that we tactfully had a super pro rata clause in our earlier round of investment, which we exercised in this round and increased our stake in the company and got onto the board. So very happy to be there, Raghava, with you. Simply Smart, I think we've talked a lot about it. Our initial small investment, again, it was an early stage investment. We invested with Axel, and now we are leading this round. And Kiran has done a lot of work on Simply Smart. The company is doing a lot of interesting things. They had conversations with large companies like NVIDIA during the AI summit, and there is a lot of interest in this company also. So these are all in the yellow category because our investments are, the bulk of our investments are less than 1 year old or just getting there. So that's why they are in yellow. Disperse is doing pretty well. We've seen that they have now our oldest company and the largest company in our portfolio with almost $15 million of revenue. So we're expecting that this company is going to be a very good outcome for us. DICE, you saw them on stage, enough said. And DICE also, just for this audience, when we invested in DICE also, we made sure that we had a certain liquidation preference, which has helped us make sure that, the benefit of that clause is actually coming as returns to the investors. Intellivings, he's here. Probably in terms of the growth, since we've invested, it's the top company, of course, from a very small base, but still very impressive, Pramod, that, when we invested in you, probably you were $170,000 or so, and Shyam was the one who mined this company it was an outbound thesis for us. And today you're close to $2 million. So in terms of multiple, you can say that this company is 30 times of what we came in or some such number. ViewNet went on to raise their next round of capital also. We participated a little bit, but ViewNet raised money from Pravega. And obviously that's given us close to a 2x on our returns also. So all these companies are doing well at various stages. And those exceptions which are not doing well, we are working very hard on them. This is the number slide that everybody likes to see. And we put a lot of things, who our co-investors are and what kind of customers they've got. Some of these are recent customer wins also. I don't think I have time to talk about every single aspect of this, but I'll just talk about the residual value and that last but one column, which shows how much the multiple has gone up, or in two cases come down. See, the multiple is also constrained by some factors. For example, I'll give you, I told you that Blue Copa was probably 200K or 250K in revenue. It's gone up to $1 million plus. Now, I can't say it's a 4x on our investment simply because we've written a big check a month ago or 3 months ago, a quarter ago. So that's obviously today's NAV, and so that's going to reflect when Blue Copa continues its momentum. So, these are all factors which make multiples at this point of time, when we are in the middle of our deployment, not a very representative number, but we've still rationalized it. There are companies, for example, ViewNet, where we invested, next round of money came in, and therefore they are at 1.8x of where we initially invested. On the top is Disperse, where it's a 2.31x of the investment. But since the first check that we wrote, we participated with Disperse in 3 stages. Since the first check that we wrote, Disperse is 3.5 times the revenue. So I would say that revenue having gone up first, the valuation is sort of a lagging indicator. So you will only see these numbers go up towards the second half of our fund life cycle, which is how it is. Last year, if I showed you, there is that U curve of how the NAV goes up. So we are somewhat sort of in that bottom to rising top now. And so you will see that top growing over the next 4 years of our residual fund. Very happy to take all these questions later. I'm just trying to rush through the slides. These are some of the investments in our pipeline that we're looking at. Like I said, we've looked at nearly 400 opportunities and continuing to look at probably a few hundred more. But then out of that, we filter out, and that's what the bulk of the work that our younger team is doing here in terms of running the numbers, talking to these companies, researching, talking, getting to know from experts. So there are companies that are in multiple stages. Diker spoke about services as software and AI services. So there is one company in that. It's a thesis that Varshne and Anish and Rishi and others here developed bottom up. We said that AI services is something that we need to look at. And then we went out and we found a couple of very interesting companies that we're talking to. And there happens to be one of those. If you want to talk more about any of these particular opportunities, very happy to engage later on, but I'll keep moving on. Is that all? This is your. Thank you.
Thanks, Gokul. And as you would have seen, the theme of the day is AI. We have, while we have been investing for the last 4 years, we always saw what was coming in terms of the change, the technological change, and we have made investments accordingly. And if you see the pipeline, all the companies are AI focused. Today, it's purely AI native companies that we are investing in. At the same point of time, to ensure that our companies continue to grow and thrive, and also to get the best deals to the table. Dagar also talked about how the big, large VCs tend to attract some of the best deals, but we still manage to muzzle our way through to some of these deals. And that is through our ecosystem engagement, and we have been very actively participating through the entire ecosystem. And so have been our portfolio companies. So you see some of our portfolio companies have been consistently in news, and we actively encourage them to be. So has been DVC. Okay. So any major report, whether it's a Hyderabad entrepreneurship report or any national report or some of the news, we have been covered adequately, which ensures that we get adequate visibility and portfolio companies get to see us. So this is just some few examples of how we are engaging with the ecosystem across. We recently hosted a AI founders meet in Hyderabad along with Sovereign Capital. And again, we are also engaged with many of the other institutions which can help us get great deals. So this is the team, and it continues to grow. We have some great advisors, and we are continuing to add. And this slide keeps on changing and getting more new additions, more expertise onto this slide. We keep on adding that. But a fundamental part of our entire existence has been, and the reason why we are in this ecosystem is to help startups grow and scale. And that is the mantra that we live by every week. And this is just an example of the type of introductions that we have made to our portfolio companies, particularly some of them which are at closing, late stage or closing, and some of the strategic partners that are involved in helping our portfolio companies that we have got onto the table. Would be happy to take more questions around this. And these are some of our advisors and venture partners. We know that we cannot walk this journey alone. We need a lot of experts, people who have that network. As I said, this is only a small sample list, but these are the people who made happen some of the deals. We have Vijay Ranganeni also here. Vijay, where are you? So Vijay, and we have introduced some of the other advisors. And Suresh from Tokan. Suresh, please. Yeah. So all of them have been helping our portfolio companies grow, get some of these logos and customers. And we would like to thank you all for being part of the DVC family. And also, I would like to take this opportunity to recognize and thank some of our partners. If you see on your table, you would see some of these beautiful table toppers talking about each one of our portfolio companies and one significant achievement of theirs. So, and you would have seen a lot of activity over the last one year on LinkedIn, passing a lot more information about what our portfolio companies are doing. I would like to thank Divyank and Shalini. Where are you, Shalini? Divyank, who have been enabling that. And I don't know if Venkatesh Gali is there. And some of our legal partners like Tempest, Samvad, they have been helping us really draw watertight agreements. And a lot of negotiation they do on our behalf and ensure that we get the best deals. Similarly, we have Shiva from Eisner Amper. Shiva, are you there around? Or yeah, Shiva probably left. So we have been engaging with some of the top tier firms, whether it is an accounting firm, whether it's for valuation, consulting firms, to ensure that the best of the governance aspects comes in. And these are teams and partners who have been working with us in this journey. And we thank all of you, all our investors, for staying with us and coming here. Thank you all. And I would request all of you to join us for the second part for cocktails and dinner. Thank you. Okay. So I missed, if any of you have any questions, now that I have announced drinks and dinner, I'm not sure if that's the right time, but we would be happy to take those questions over drinks and dinner.